everyone, I'm Caitlin A. I'm a second year molecular, cellular, and developmental biology major at University of California, Los Angeles, and I am a WhizSmart tutor. In this video, we'll be talking about my college application process and my journey. In 8th grade, I actually started taking some math classes at the high school, so I took one AP class, that was stats. Then freshman year, I took an honors class, again in math. Sophomore year, 2 AP classes. Junior year, 5, and senior year, 6. And then my GPA was 4.0 unweighted and then a 4.4 weighted. But again, these are just classes and GPAs. They're numbers that can look good on a college admissions form, but again, it's not, like, it does not define you. There's so many other aspects that you have to consider when applying for your the college that you want and trying to make yourself look good. I was the president of a couple of clubs, including a Key Club, which is a volunteering organization that was actually my main club. I was the president of AP Club and then president of Book Club. I was also the captain of the swim team for 3 years. And then I was on varsity tennis, serving as one doubles. And then I was also a multicultural day organizer, and I did quite a bit of things, but it was mainly stemming from the fact that in my senior year, I wanted to make an impact on the school and I wanted to live that year as much as I could. So I just signed up for a bunch of things because I was genuinely interested in it. And overall, I have like over 100 hours of volunteering, mainly through Key Club, where I was the vice president and president of it, and then I was doing some more tutoring and teaching as well. Okay, so I know like this is a very big category that everyone wonders about, the SAT and the ACT. And yeah, right now it's going to look a little different because of COVID, but when I took it, the SAT, I prepped for it by taking the SAT prep course with Kaplan, and I did a lot of self-studying as well. So I got some prep books and I just did some practice problems, learned different techniques, and then took a lot of practice tests. So I definitely recommend taking those practice tests so that you know what the format feels like, how the questions are structured, and then of course the time limit. Because a lot of things that can happen, and the biggest thing is that the time constraint gets into your head. So you spend more time panicking about finishing the test on time than actually finishing the test on time. So the more familiar you are with the test, the less worried you are, and therefore the better you'll do. And I took both the SAT and the ACT, so I took both of them once. So for the SAT, I got a pretty good score of 1530, and generally I was like, hey, I'm not gonna try for a higher score. This is high enough to get into basically any college I want. I'm good. So we're good for that. However, I did take the ACT just to see if I would like the format better and the extra section, which is science, if I would do well on that or not. And I basically scored the equivalent score, but I think in general I like the SAT a little bit better. So I took 11 AP tests out of my 14 AP classes. So this is another big thing that people don't realize, is that you don't have to take an AP test for every AP class you take. So I took my AP classes because I was interested in them, not just because of the GPA boost, but it was really because I was interested in comp sci or history or math or sciences and stuff like that. I thought that extra challenge would actually keep me more stimulated in high school, and they definitely did. But so for the testing though, I realized that the main reason you take the AP test is for college credit. And some colleges don't accept multiple AP tests. So for example, if you take AP Lang and you get a 4 or 5 on it, you probably don't have to take the AP Lit exam because you already got the credit and you're not going to get the double credit. So there's really no point in paying the extra money to take the test when it's not going to help you in the future. For preparing for these AP exams, I just did what every student does. I went to review sessions, I took good notes, I reviewed those notes, and of course practice. There's nothing more beneficial than taking those practice tests to see how you could do in that time and stress environment. Did I do any internships? So I applied to a couple, but I did not get into them, and that's totally fine. So even though I didn't get into those internships, which I admit, I was a little disappointed at the time, I spent that time that I would have used for the internships to focus on different passions. So this could be hobbies, or this could be volunteering, teaching, tutoring, things like that. So really just do what you want to do. Be passionate about something. So first, I definitely suggest looking at the prompts in advance. So these prompts are generally the same, especially for the UCs from year to year, or they will follow a very similar vein. So they'll ask about leadership, ask about your identity, ask about volunteering, or a time that you felt challenged in your life and how you got past that challenge. So they're very similar in theme, and I started brainstorming ideas. So I definitely did this for a couple months before I actually started the writing process. And the writing process, it's okay if your first essays are complete trash. That's like, bad first drafts are a very important step of the process. So once I got my initial ideas down in a cohesive manner, I started actually editing them, seeing what I wanted to keep in, what was the most important, and how I could reflect my own style in an admittedly short word count. Then after that, I sent it to my family, people I trusted, and said hey, if you're part of the college admissions committee, would you accept me? What do you think I should strengthen? What do you think I should delete, add on, things like that. I think this is one of the biggest things that I want to emphasize is that these are all things that I've done, but every person is an individual and has their own individual journey. So yes, you want to focus on keeping your GPA high, you want to take challenging classes that show that you're a dedicated student, you want to have extracurriculars, all that stuff. Yes, that's important, but what's more important is that you actually have passions and you show that through your writing. There's no formula to get into college. I know that we want to be if I get this SAT score, if I have this GPA, but no. I know people with higher GPAs, higher SAT scores that didn't get into the colleges that they wanted just because they didn't have and didn't show their passions through their college essays. So yeah, I do recommend putting some emphasis and some time into your essays because they really show you, they show you apart from all the other cookie cutter perfect students out there in the world. How did I apply, or how did I pick the colleges I applied to? So first I applied to 6 UCs, and the reason I chose UCs and actually all of my colleges is because I wanted to stay closer to home. So I live on the West Coast, so I wanted to keep my schools in the West Coast. That being said, I highly recommend looking at colleges that you wouldn't think that you would just to see maybe a different environment is going to stimulate you even more and help you in your college and then your future experience, right? But for me, I was okay, let's go West Coast. So I did 6 UCs because in-state tuition, that's great. And then I also did University of Washington and Stanford. And the reason I chose these 6 UCs, University of Washington and Stanford, was because I researched into their medical program and I am a pre-med. So I really am focused on that, going into med schools and looking for opportunities that will help me on my pre-med track. So that is why I chose the colleges I did. For you, obviously, it's going to be different depending on the major and what field you want to go into, but really research into if that school is good for your major. I know that we sometimes want to just go to those high-end schools, but if they don't work for you, if they don't have a good program, then the clout is not worth the struggle you'll have in actually trying to apply yourself to your major, to your program, to your future. So for my top is UCLA, and I got into it, so it was great. And the reason I chose UCLA was that there's this great medical program. So there's the David Geffen School of Medicine right there, right a little bit south of main campus. So there's a lot of opportunities for research, for mentorship, for getting close to professors there so that I could, have it easier getting into med school, but really just learn more about the application process and what it actually means to be in medicine. And then there's Ronald Reagan Hospital next to it as well, which is a hospital. So there's a lot of opportunities for volunteering, clinical volunteering as well, clinical research, things like that. But I definitely suggest if you can, obviously if you can't, then it's totally fine. But if you want to actually tour maybe the top 1, 2, 3 schools on your list, just because being in that space can have such an effect on you. For example, I didn't think that touring was a huge deal, but then my godbrother was graduating at UCLA, so I was okay, let's go to UCLA. And I really loved it. The campus for me was just beautiful. I loved the environment, both social, climate, and the actual environment, right? So it was great. So I definitely recommend if you can. Obviously, if you can't, then you can always do virtual tours or just do some research. But if you can, being in the space can really make an impact in your decision. Okay, so yeah, in hindsight, going to UCLA was probably one of the best decisions I made. I love it there. I've had a blast, and it's been super beneficial for me academic wise, while also being super beneficial for me extracurricular wise. I'm this part I'm on the board of this great medical club. I'm also in a research lab, and like I applied in my winter freshman year, so I definitely try to get a head start on that. And like I got in with relative ease because everyone is so welcoming, and there's a lot of staff who want to support you in your future. So yeah, I do not regret that decision at all. As well as, having fun. Like LA is great. There's so many foods, attractions, activities to do. So if you just want a break from studying, and I suggest that you do take frequent breaks, otherwise your brain will be fried. There's so much stuff to do, like either on campus or off campus, and everything is like a bus ride away. Really enjoy your time in high school, okay? First of all, I know that we're all struggling to get into college, but high school is 4 years of your life. You want to make the most of it. And the more fun and the more passion you have in high school, the better chances you have of getting into a good college, because your passions will shine through in like what you do. And this obviously includes your college essays, but also the extracurriculars you take. If you, like for example, like me, I love volunteering. I love helping people. So I joined my Key Club, I joined my volunteering club, and my dedication to it is very obvious, and it shows how much I love volunteering and helping people. So definitely focus on what makes you happy. That being said, make sure you're on top of your grades, your SAT score, sure, all that stuff. But like that's basic stuff. Don't worry about it as much as you think you need to. Like about college, I didn't realize how much I would fall in love with campus and the people and the support structure there. So anywhere you are in college and high school in the future, just be brave and proactive with finding those experiences and putting yourself out there. Take advantage of the surroundings and your own innate abilities to better yourself. And like this can be like, oh, I want to take a more challenging class. Oh, I want to like learn a new language or a new art style, or even just like I want to find more peace within myself. I want to help the environment. I want to help other people. I want to make the world a better place. All that stuff you can do regardless of where you are. You just have to put like all your effort into it. So yeah. And I know this is very scary, so good luck on your college application process, but trust me, you can do it. You can be hardworking, high achieving, while still having the time of your life. And that's it. So that's my college advice to all of you guys, and have fun.